Skin the Harder Way Southern T. Back with another EP. This is basically like my post-fight reaction, from the fights this weekend. It wasn't, too many fights, that piqued my interest this weekend. One overly a lot of fights in which piqued my interest this weekend. But one fight in particular did hella pique my interest. You know what I mean? And not because I was like, overly impressed with the performance in it. I actually wasn't impressed with the performance in it at all. But there were a lot of people, this weekend who were, impressed with the performance, this weekend. And the fight that I'm talking about is Savannah Marshall. And just for purpose of this video, I'm not even going to say the woman name that Savannah Marshall fought, because I know truly that most people don't even know who that woman is that Savannah Marshall fought. A lot of people, just jumping on the Savannah Marshall hype train. So I'm going to let one of y'all figure it out. I'm going to let one of the people who come in here, you know what I mean, who Savannah Marshall fans or who knew Savannah Marshall supporters, I'm going to let y'all tell me. But Savannah Marshall, had a fight. Truthfully, we wouldn't know who Savannah Marshall was if it wasn't for Clarissa Shields. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. It was a fight this weekend. Savannah Marshall had a fight. Savannah Marshall is Clarissa Shields, rival, nemesis, or whatsoever. She's the only lady to ever beat Clarissa Shields, in a boxing match. And she didn't do it as a professional. She did it when Clarissa Shields was 15, 16 years old. In the amateur, Clarissa Shields is like 88-1. In the amateurs, and that one loss is to this lady, Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall is coming off a knockout win this weekend. A lot of people are highly impressed with it. I'm not so much impressed with it. She knocked out a lady in which Clarissa Shields had beaten 4 years ago. And no, Clarissa Shields didn't knock her out. And I know we all like to get, so enamored. And we all like to clamor over, knockouts. And sometimes, when it suits us, it does. You know what I mean? When it suits us, it does. Because, Deontay Wilder get hella knockouts. And, people, degrade him, downgrade him, all the time. And if you watch Savannah Marshall fight, she isn't skilled at all. She never had a gold medal or silver medal or nothing like that. Deontay Wilder has a bronze medal, but everybody's so enamored with her power, and she already got, her ratio is already off of what Deontay Wilder could be. He had 40 fights, 42 knockouts. He had 42 fights and 40 knockouts. Savannah Marshall has 12 fights and 10 knockouts. You know what I mean? So, and he has a bronze medal. So people, like knockouts when they like them, and they don't when they don't. But, everybody seems to be, enamored with Savannah Marshall's power and all that. And they were impressed with the fight last night. Now, me personally, I don't see how many people are impressed with a fight last night, especially with Clarissa Shields beating this opponent 4 years ago. Four calendar years ago, in her prime, Clarissa Shields beat this lady. You know what I mean? But people, I see a lot of people are hyped about it. A lot of people are excited about Savannah Marshall. You even got people now who feel strong enough as to even say, oh, well, Savannah Marshall might beat Clarissa Shields. Savannah Marshall go, knock Clarissa Shields out. I'm starting to see more and more in that. But the beauty about this thing is that we not going to have to wait that long for this. This not going to be a long, dragged out thing over years and years of time and all that, because they're about to fight this summer. That's within a few months. If you do the math, that's only within a few months. That's only within a few months. You know what I mean? So this fight will be popping off, sooner than later. But I find something funny. Again, I find something funny how we all love, knockouts now, but we didn't love them when Deontay Wilder was knocking people out. And if you seen Savannah Marshall fight, she not no more skilled than Deontay Wilder. if you check out her opponents list, which we're going to do today, I'm gonna tell you, because basically what this is 10 knockouts, right? This is 10 knockouts versus 10 championships. This is a puncher versus the most skilled women's boxer to ever step foot in the ring. This is everybody that Floyd Mayweather ever fought versus Floyd Mayweather. But I know a lot of people don't know shit about boxing, or a lot of people forget a lot of shit about boxing. So this is what this EP is here to remind you, and just how, like, when it suits us, we like classic boxers, and when it suits us, we like knockout punchers. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna break this down for you. Now I'm gonna do Savannah Marshall first. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it on here so I can show y'all. I'm gonna do Savannah Marshall first, and we're going to go through her 10 knockouts, because that's what we love about Savannah Marshall, right? We love the fact that, Savannah Marshall gets these knockouts. That's what got everybody scared. That's what got everybody worried. You know what I mean? It is Savannah Marshall's power. So let's just really get in depth on, this power and how she displays it and who she displays it against. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go to Clarissa Shields' name because I don't know how to spell Savannah. Oh, we're going to go to Famika Hermans, who was 9-1 when Clarissa Shields beat this lady. She was 9-1. Savannah Marshall fought this lady last night, and she was 12-4. So since Clarissa Shields, she's 3-3. Actually, since Clarissa Shields, she's 4-3. So Clarissa Shields beat this lady 4 years ago, right? Clarissa Shields beat this opponent that everybody is so enamored with. This opponent that everybody is clamoring over. This Savannah Marshall knockout. Context. Clarissa Shields beat this lady 4 years ago. And when Clarissa Shields beat this lady was 9-1. So that means this lady has gone 4-3 since the last time that she fought Clarissa Shields. And Savannah Marshall fought her last night. So I want y'all to understand exactly, what's going on. So her knockout last night, Savannah Marshall, her knockout last night was against Famika Hermans. Last night, that was her last win. She got a stoppage in the second round. Again, Clarissa Shields fought this girl 4 years ago, and the girl was 9-1 when Clarissa Shields fought her. She was 12-4 when Savannah Marshall fought her. Okay. Now let's go to her stoppage before that. TKO, right? You got, hold on, let me bring the screen up so y'all can see. And the lady that I'm about to show y'all, she is naturally 147 pounds. She never had a fight at 160 before Savannah Marshall used her as a late replacement. She's the 147-pound champion. She came up to 160 to fight this lady right here. Famika Hermans, this lady right here is the lady that Savannah Marshall knocked out last night. She was 9-1 when Clarissa Shields beat her 4 years ago. She's now 12-4, and Savannah Marshall, knocked her out. This lady right here, she fights at the 147-pound division. You know what I mean? 154-pound division. She fought Savannah Marshall as a late replacement, 17-1. Savannah Marshall gave her only loss, but she was coming up in weight, and she's still currently the champion at 47 and the champion at 54. You know what I mean? So that's the lady that Savannah Marshall knocked out. So far, we got Famika Hermans, who Savannah Marshall knocked out last night, who was 12-4. You know what I mean? She was 12-4. We got her stopping the welterweight champion, who was 17-1. We got Maya Lindenberg, who was 19-6-2. Again, 19-6-2. I'm gonna say it again. 19-6-2. Savannah Marshall stopped. We got Hannah Rankin. Now, Clarissa Shields also fought Hannah Rankin 4 years ago. Clarissa Shields fought Hannah Rankin 4 years ago. She's 11-5. When Clarissa Shields fought her, she was 6-0. So, two common opponents. One common opponent was 9-1 when Clarissa Shields beat her. Another common opponent was undefeated when Shields beat her 4 years ago. I'm noticing a pattern. Savannah Marshall is older than Clarissa Shields, and she's waiting until Clarissa Shields' opponents are getting older before she even fights them, and Clarissa Shields is even younger than Savannah Marshall. But Clarissa Shields beat this opponent when she was undefeated. Savannah Marshall beat her about 3 years later. And how many losses did she have when Savannah Marshall beat her? Oh, okay. So she had 3 losses when Savannah Marshall beat her. Okay. So she had 3 losses when Savannah Marshall beat. What's good, Kev, in effect? So Hannah Rankin. So that is she has 10 knockouts. She has 10 knockouts in 12 fights. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we got through 4 out of these 10 knockouts, right? Because people are infatuated with Savannah Marshall's knockout, right? So we got 4 opponents, 4 good opponents. We got 4 good opponents, right? Hannah Rankin, was 9-4. You know what I mean? Maya Lindbergh was 19-6. You had a 16-0 from a small division, but 16-0. And you got Famika Hermes, who was 12-3. 12-3. So that is 1, that's 10, 13. That's 13. So let's just say 20, 29, 30, 36, 46, 48. So that's 48-13 in her last 4 knockouts. Her opponent record in her last 4 knockouts are 48-13. Savannah Marshall's last 4 opponents and her last 4 knockouts are 48-13. Cool. That's cool, right? That's cool. Now, just 4 knockouts. Now let's get into her last 6 knockouts. Okay. Let's get into her last 6 knockouts. We got Ashley Curry. Ashley Curry was 8-12 when Savannah Marshall knocked her out. She was 8-12 when Savannah Marshall knocked her out. 8-12. So there's 5 knockouts, 4 good opponents. Clarissa Shields beat 2 of her 4 good opponents 4 years ago. So her fifth knockout was against a girl who was 8-12-4. My bad. She was 8-12-4 when Savannah Marshall knocked her out. Okay, so her 6th knockout, the girl was 2-0. She was 2-0. And Savannah Marshall was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0. 6, 7, 8. She was 8-0, and she knocked out a girl who was 2-0. So right now, her opponent record is 10-12-4. She's 10-12-4 on the back end fights. And then she knocked out her opponent who was 11-55. Now she's 11-67. So this woman was 11-55 when Savannah Marshall knocked her out. She's 11-67 now. So her win-loss record now would be we're going to add up the win-loss record at the end, y'all. I'm going to add it up for y'all. Okay. Her 7th knockout came from her opponent who was 3-25. 3-25. her record is now 3-35. So now the opponent is 3-35. 3-35. And then she knocked out a woman who was 4-0. Okay, pretty good. I give up. It's pretty good. 4-0. She was 4-0 when Savannah knocked her out, and she's now 5-2, which means she didn't have many more fights after that. She had 3 fights after Savannah, knocked out. So she didn't even have a real career. Actually, she didn't even knock that lady out. That was a UD. My bad. I'm sorry. She got a UD against that lady that was 4-0. She had a UD against her. My bad. She got a UD. She knocked out this lady who was 8-2. And now she's 14-5. So you know what? I'm going to give her some credit for that. This lady got wins after the fact. This lady, ain't just been getting her ass whooped after the fact. And her knockout came against a girl that was 1-6. And now this girl is 1-15. She's now 1-15. And the first knockout came against Sydney LeBlanc. No, this wasn't even knockout. This was a UD. Also, a person that Clarissa Shields fought, Sydney LeBlanc. It was Clarissa Shields' first fight as well. Okay, so let's round up this win-loss record, y'all. Let's round up this win-loss record so we can get a bead, in comparison. Because that's what we're doing right now. We comparing the fight, I know we love knockouts. I just went through and showed you everybody that she knocked out. She knocked out this lady. She knocked out this lady who's 1-15. She knocked out this lady who's 14-5. She knocked out this lady who's 3-35. She knocked out this lady who's 11-67. She knocked out this lady who's 3-2, who was 2-0 when she fought Marshall. She's 3-2. And she knocked out this lady who's 8-14. She's 8-14. She knocked out Hannah Rankins, who's 11-5. So she got two good opponents so far. 19-18. And so good opponent. I'll give her that. So I won't be a hater. 3 good opponents. She got this fighter who fights at welterweight. She just beat. No good opponent. I'll give her that one. 4 good opponents. And Famika Hermes, 12-4. So she's fought 5 good opponents. 5 knockouts. And she got the other 5 knockouts against people's record who we never heard of in our life. So she got 5 knockouts against 5 pretty good opponents. And she got 5 knockouts against people we never heard of in our life. Now, yesterday I was talking to my guy Trap. He kept pointing out ages, right? So 31. So 32. 31. 31. So both their common opponents, well, actually, when Clarissa beat them, that was in their 20s. 45. So actually, by my guy Trap standards, this win don't count. So she has 4 good wins because he said that Christina Hammer was 40. So this lady that Marshall knocked out, she 45. So we gonna throw that win away. So we throwing that one away because they told me yesterday that you know, when they old, it don't really count, you know. So we gonna throw that win away. So Maya Lindenberg, which one of her best opponents, was 45 when she fought her. So one of her best wins was off a 45-year-old. But I digress. Her age is not even up here. Her age is not even up here, and her status say inactive. Okay, 31. But y'all get the picture. Y'all get the picture, right? And the thing that you notice is, I want to point something else out to you. No belts. 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 Vacant WBO against Hannah Rankins, who Clarissa Shields had already fought. Now, some more context. The reason that you see none of these fights right here were for any belts, you guys, is because she was in the same division as Clarissa Shields at this time. Every fight she had before a belt, she was in the same division as Clarissa Shields. They're in the same divisions right now as we speak, like 65, 68, 64, 60, 68, 59, 60, 71, 58, 54. You know what I mean? So the fights that you see early in her career, her and Clarissa Shields are in the same division. And by no belt, I mean real belt. No, they're in the same division. So stay with me. Stay with me now. Now let's go to Clarissa Shields, right? I just showed you the 10 knockouts that she got. 5 of those people got over 20 losses. 5 of those people got over 20 losses. And two out of 5 of those people are former Clarissa Shields opponent that she already beat 4 years ago. And another one of those knockouts was off a 45-year-old lady. You know what I mean? It was off a 45-year-old lady. So now let's go to Clarissa, because that's basically what it is. It's knockouts, you know, versus, you know, championship medal, right? Literally, championship medal. Now I'm going to go to Clarissa Shields. Now let's go to Clarissa. Now let's go to Clarissa. Now let's go to Clarissa. Now, context. I'm going to start from her first fight and work my way up. Right? Her debut, Franchon Cruz. Right? Franchon Cruz is 7-1 right now. Right? Her Clarissa Shields' very first fight. Clarissa Shields' very first fight. The first fight of her career was against this lady, Franchon Cruz, right? Franchon Cruz is now currently about to fight for undisputed in the division that Savannah Marshall left. So you got Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields, and Franchon Cruz, who all are in the same division at the start of their careers. But Shields, right? Shields and Franchon Cruz actually fought each other, right? You know, her very first fight, Clarissa Shields, was against Franchon Cruz. Franchon Cruz is currently a champion now. Franchon Cruz walks around at super middleweight right now, right? Which is bigger than Savannah Marshall fights at right now. Clarissa Shields used to fight in the same division as Savannah Marshall and Franchon Cruz. Franchon Cruz is currently a champion now. There is nobody on Savannah Marshall's resume that's currently a champion now. Now, my guy Trap ain't going to be here for this. He ain't going to be here for this. But he going to come after trying to talk about it. and I'm gonna tell him, shut the hell up talking to me, because I know he watching, but he's not gonna pop in here. You know what I mean? But Frenchon Cruz, despite how you feel about that, you could discredit her, but you give Savannah Marshall credit for beating up people who less than her. You know what I mean? So this is Clarissa Shields' first fight. She beat a woman named Frenchon Cruz, who is currently a champion, who's currently about to fight for undisputed at the 168-pound division right now. She's 7-1. She has only one loss, and her one loss is to Clarissa Shields. Are y'all ready to move on to the next fighter? She has one loss, and it's against Clarissa Shields. Frenchon Cruz. Frenchon DAZN. One loss. She's currently the unified super middleweight champion of the world. This was Clarissa Shields' first fight of her life. It was Clarissa Shields' first professional fight ever. And she beat that lady. Okay, let's move to Clarissa Shields' second fight. Let's move to her second fight, right? It's against Sylvia Sabatos. Now, this fight is for the vacant NABF. The NABF gets you an automatic title shot at any one of the titles that you want. You must win the NABF before you can get a shot at one of the major titles. So in Clarissa Shields' second fight, she fights for the NABF title against Sylvia Zabatos. Sylvia Zabatos is 18-8, right? So she fights her for the WBA at 18-8 for a shot at the major belt. So she goes in there, she beats this woman who is now 18-8. Now, for comparison, Savannah Marshall fought a woman that was 11-67 in like her fifth fight. Clarissa Shields fought this woman who was 15-8 when Clarissa Shields fought her. She was 15-8. When Savannah Marshall fought that lady, she was 11-55. She's 11-67 now. This lady is 18-18 now. She's lost 10 fights and only won 3 since Clarissa Shields. But she was 15-8 when Clarissa Shields beat her all those years back. So that's her second fight right there for the NABF belt against a woman 15-8. Her first fight was against the current champion right now who's 7-1. Sydney LeBlanc, common opponent of Savannah Marshall. The difference is Clarissa Shields fought her 4 or 5 years ago, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Clarissa Shields fought her 4 years ago. That's the difference between Marshall and Shields and Sydney LeBlanc. Sydney LeBlanc is now 4-5, right? She's 4-5 right now. When Clarissa Shields fought her, she was 4-1. This is a common opponent between Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. When Shields beat her, she was 4-1. She's 4-5 right now. Let that sink in. She's 4-5 right now. Let that sink in. Right? So that's Sydney LeBlanc. In Clarissa Shields' fourth fight, she fights Nikki Adler. Nikki Adler is undefeated. Undefeated. Savannah Marshall did not fight an undefeated fighter with more than 10 fights until 1 fight ago. Let that sink in. Because I got another undefeated fighter that Clarissa Shields is about to fight next. Uh-oh. Now we... Savannah Marshall did not fight. Savannah Marshall did not fight an opponent with an undefeated record with more than 10 wins, because she fought a girl that was 2-0 with more than 10 wins. She didn't fight nobody until her fight before her last fight, before the fight last night. Savannah Marshall's last fight before last night was the only undefeated fighter that Savannah Marshall ever fought in her life, and that woman came from a 147-pound division in a step-in fight to chase greatness, and she lost to Savannah Marshall. Nikki Adler was 16-0 when Clarissa Shields beat her. She's now 16-2. She's now 16-2. Clarissa Shields fought her 4 years ago. She fought her 4 years ago. She fought her 4 years ago. Nikki Adler, 16-0. Now, note, this is for the W. Now we get into the good part. Y'all like Savannah Marshall knockouts. Y'all love them knockouts. Y'all like them knockouts, right? Now, I want you to count. Now, I want you to count these straps now, right? Level of competition, level of opponent. Count these straps. In Clarissa Shields' fourth fight, she received her first major belt, WBC belt, IBF belt, super middleweight. 2017, stay with me now. Y'all, 2017, super middleweight. 2017, super middleweight champion, Clarissa Shields. 2017, super middleweight champion, Clarissa Shields. Now walk with me for a second. Talk with me for a second. Now watch this. 2017, Clarissa Shields won 2 major belts in 2017. Stay with me. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. 2017. 2017. She fights Sydney LeBlanc to a UD. This is the lady that Clarissa Shields beat, and she was 4-0. 2017. I'm going to show you the record. They were in the same division. This lady fought Clarissa Shields, Franchon Cruz, and then she fought Savannah Marshall. Now note this. Clarissa Shields is the only one that fought this lady in the 8th round. 8th round, 4th round, 4th round. Clarissa Shields fought her in the 4th rounder. 17, 17, 17. So if Clarissa Shields has the straps at 168, and Franchon Cruz already fought Clarissa Shields at this point, she lost. She already fought her. Shields won them belts in 17. Savannah Marshall in 17 fought Sydney LeBlanc, who Clarissa Shields had beaten earlier in 2017. So Savannah Marshall could have fought Clarissa Shields in 2017 for them straps. Right? Right? Y'all ain't heard me. Y'all ain't heard me. Y'all ain't heard me. Let me crack this window. Y'all ain't heard me, man. I'm going to say it again. In 2017, when Clarissa Shields won them straps, because we know Clarissa Shields ain't got no problem fighting them tough fights. Now, Darrell, we can't say that. No, it's not. This is the hardest fight of Clarissa Shields' career. This is the hardest fight of Clarissa Shields' career. This is not going to be the hardest fight of Clarissa Shields' career. And I'm telling you, Savannah Marshall hasn't even fought this woman yet. Savannah, hold on, stay with me. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track. I'm going to get in the chat in a second. Let's stay on track. Nikki Adler, 16-0. Savannah Marshall's 4th fight, she was fighting a lady with 35 losses. Undefeated fighter, Clarissa Shields, for 2 world belts in the same division as Savannah Marshall. 2018, Clarissa Shields moves up a division, fights Tori Nelson, another undefeated fighter, 17-0, 16-0. So Clarissa Shields has fought a 16-0, a 17-0, a 4-1, a 15-8, and two in two people making their debut in French on Cruz. It's not going to be Clarissa Shields' hardest fight. It's not going to be Clarissa. It's going to be easy, Darrell. I'm telling you why. Because Clarissa Shields already beat this lady. She already beat this lady, who is about to fight for undisputed. She about to fight for undisputed. Clarissa Shields already beat her. It's not going to be Clarissa Shields' hardest fight. It's going to be easy. And I'm telling y'all why. Tori Nelson, another undefeated fighter. WBC belt, IBF belt. So that's her fifth fight. There's 4 straps Clarissa Shields got. Clarissa Shields now has 5 fights and 4 major sanctioning belts. Listen to me again. You could disagree. You could disagree, Darrell. And guess what? If you think that Savannah Marshall is better than this lady, I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree. If you think Savannah Marshall is better than this lady, Savannah Marshall ducked her too. Savannah Marshall could have fought her. Savannah Marshall left the 168-pound division, so she won't have to fight her. And I disagree with you. You could disagree with me. I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't got no problem with that. I don't get no problem with that. I got no problem with it. But Savannah Marshall didn't want no smoke with this lady. It's not going to be that hard, y'all. It's not going to be that hard, y'all. It's not going to be that hard. Tori Nelson, Nikki Allen 16-0. Tori Nelson 17-0. There's 5 fights and 4 straps. Tori Nelson 20-2. Now notice how Clarissa Shields' opponents are aging with these wins, and notice how Savannah Marshall's opponents are aging with these wins. When Clarissa Shields fought her, she was 17-0. She's 20-2 now. Undefeated fighter. 5 fights, 4 major belts. Now let's go up to Hannah Gabriels. Hannah Gabriel was 18-1 when Clarissa Shields fought her. She was 18-1 when Clarissa Shields fought her. Now we got a 16-0, a 17-0, and an 18-1 in her 5th, 6th, and 7th fights, right? Okay, let's go back for a second. In her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So in 3 out of 6 of her fights, she has 2 undefeated opponents. An opponent that's 18-1, an opponent that's 4-1, an opponent that's 15-8, and French on Cruz, who is going for undisputed right now. So 6 fights in. 18-1, 17-0, 16-0. Now let's look at Savannah Marshall. Let's look at Savannah Marshall first 6 fights for reference again. Real quick. And these going to be knockouts. First 6 fights, right? Okay, she fought Sydney LeBlanc, who was 4-3. She fought Easter Konina, who was 1-6. She fought Alexandra Ayala, who was 18-2. She fought Yana Ozarenko, who was 4-0. And she fought a woman who was 3-25. In her 5th fight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In her 6th fight, she fought a lady who was 11-55. So her 5th and 6th fight, she fought a lady who was 11-55, 3-25. And Clarissa Shields' 5th and 6th fights, she fought a lady 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lady who was 17-0 and the lady who was 18-1. Also, Clarissa Shields fought champions in her 4th and 5th fight. And I understand that, Darrell. I understand it. I understand all that. I never said, okay, Zero. Okay, then let's go back for a second. She just knocked out this lady who was 9-1. She knocked out this lady who's 12-4 right now. 12-4. 2022. 12-4. Clarissa Shields beat the same lady in 2018. And she was 9-1. She was 9-1. I'm not telling you Marshall trash. I'm telling you Marshall is not the best opponent that Clarissa Shields has faced. She's not. She was 9-1 when Clarissa beat her. 9-1. Now look, now let's stay on track. Tori Nelson, because I know y'all getting off track. Clarissa Shields has already beaten people who are better than Savannah Marshall. These people that I'm naming y'all are in the same division as Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall didn't fight him. Clarissa Shields did. These people that I'm naming were in her division. Savannah Marshall fighting these people 4-5 years later. They old. Clarissa fought these people years ago. They all in the same division right now. 2017. LeBlanc, Nikki. Clarissa Shields is in the division. They in the same division. Super middle. 168. Savannah Marshall is in the same division. I never said she was bad. She's not Clarissa Shields' best opponent. She not bad. She not Clarissa, because y'all niggas can't hear. She not Clarissa Shields' best opponent. Let me see if y'all can read, because y'all can't hear me. Let me see if y'all can read that shit. Okay, so now we got that understood. right? Now we got that understood, right? I'm at you again. Now we got that understood, right? In 2017, when Clarissa Shields was fighting these people, Savannah Marshall was in the same division. Franchon Cruz never left 168. Clarissa went to 154. Hannah Gabriels went to heavyweight. Hannah Gabriels. Clarissa Shields picked up 2. God damn, Hannah. Woo! Shit, Hannah Gabriels. Clarissa Shields picked up 2 more belts off Hannah Gabriels, who's 21, 2-1. And guess what Hannah Gabriels is? A fucking heavyweight right now. Uh-oh. With 12 knockouts. Uh-oh. Hannah Gabriels is a heavyweight with 12 knockouts. Uh-oh. I think Shields beats Marshall. I think she beat her. I don't care if she stopped her. You don't got to get a knockout. You don't got to get a knockout to win a fight. When you fight top-level competition, knockouts not going to happen like that. When you fight scrubs, 11-55, 12-35, 12-35. When you fight top-level competition, but let's keep going. Hannah Gabriels is a heavyweight. She's a heavyweight. And guess what, y'all? She's the heavyweight champion. Oh. Oh. Shields beat the heavyweight champion of the world. Oh. Oh. Do you niggas watch boxing? Do you watch boxing? Or are y'all just a prisoner of the moment? Hey, hold on. We ain't talking about, I understand all that. Clarissa Shields beat the current unified heavyweight champion of the world, and she got 12 knockouts. But y'all think Marshall is Shields' best? Do you niggas watch boxing? Do you watch this shit? Do you watch this shit? Heavyweight champion of the world, Craig. Chris Shields. Of the world, Craig. Not just the city of the world. And this is a 3-division champion right here. Put some motherfucking respect on Hannah Gabriels. This is a 3-division champion. So y'all trying to tell me Savannah Marshall better than Hannah Gabriels? Y'all telling me Savannah Marshall better than fucking Franchon Cruz? You niggas don't know boxing. You niggas don't know boxing. And you know I'm betting on Shields. And you know I'm betting on Shields. I want y'all to peep. I want y'all to peep. I want y'all to peep. And you keep talking about Peter Fury and all that. I get it. But her last fight, so Chris Shields beat that girl 4 years ago, and she was 9-1 when Shields beat her. 4 years ago. That means she's 4 years older. She had 4 years worth more fights. 4 years slower. 4 years ago, Chris Shields beat her. Y'all so hyped off a chick Chris Shields beat 4 years ago. Y'all sound crazy as hell in here. But let's keep going. They're a prisoner of the moment because they don't watch boxing. They don't watch boxing. I know they don't. They don't watch boxing. They do not watch boxing, bro. They don't watch boxing. They don't watch boxing, dog. Now let's keep going. Hannah Gabriels. Savannah Marshall just fuck out of here. Now, she just got now this motherfucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 fights. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 fights, 6 major belts. Uh-oh. It's 6 fights, 6 major belts. Uh-oh. Let's go to the 7th fight now. 7th fight, she beat Hannah Rankins. Common opponent. 5-2 when Clarissa Shields beat her in 2018. 5-2 when Clarissa Shields beat her in 2018. 5-2 when Clarissa Shields beat her in 2018. Hannah Rankins. Savannah Marshall, 2020. Savannah Marshall fought her in 2020. That's 2 years after Shields fought her. And her record was, she was 5-2 when Clarissa Shields fought her. And her record was 9-4. She was 9-4 when Savannah Marshall fought her. So she had 2 more losses when Savannah Marshall fought than she had when Shields fought her. Shields beat her for a strap, too. Shields beat her for a strap, let her belt go. Shields beat her for a strap, let those belts go. She picked up that strap again. Then Savannah Marshall came and beat her for the same strap. So her 7th fight, now we 7 fights in, and she got 9 titles. Now we 7 fights in, she got 8 new titles. And then she fought the girl that Savannah Marshall fought last night. Huh. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm lucky as hell for that, boy. I almost broke my shit. Y'all don't watch boxing. And y'all know I do this shit. Y'all know I do this shit. Check my motherfucking screensaver. I ain't doing this shit for fun. Check my motherfucking screensaver. Check my motherfucking screensaver, man. I ain't doing this shit for fun. Yeah, my phone fucked up. Check my goddamn screensaver. It's the quote. I ain't doing this shit for fun. 9-1 when she beat her. She was 12-3. She was 12-3 when Savannah Marshall beat. Now let's go up to Christina Hammer. Undisputed. Something that Savannah Marshall don't know shit about. Christina Hammer, 24-0. And yo, Savannah Marshall is in the same divisions as all of these people. Savannah Marshall is in the same division as all of these people. Bro, so you know there ain't many fights in the winning got that belt, but they not. They not fighting the same opponents. They not fighting the same opponents. They not. She fighting the sorry opponents. Savannah Marshall has never fought Fresh-On Cruz. Savannah Marshall has never fought Hannah Gavers. Savannah Marshall has never fought Tora Nelson. They not fighting the same opponents. She fighting the trash opponents that Clarissa Shields fought. Not even trash. She's picking the weaker opponents. Clarissa Shields beat the heavyweight champion. Clarissa Shields beat the undisputed 168-pound champion. Clarissa Shields beat the motherfucking unified 154-pound champion. Savannah Marshall is not fighting who Clarissa Shields fighting. But I digress. Let's keep going. They not fighting the same people. They're not fighting the same people. Savannah Marshall never fought this lady. She never fought this lady who fighting for undisputed right now. She never fought that lady. She never fought this lady. 2 division champ. She never fought Tori fucking Nelson. Tori Nelson still beating ass. She retired because her last fight was in 19, TKO win. UD win. TKO win. She lost to Hammer, UD. Lost to Shields, UD. Latasha Burton. Stop it. Stop playing. Savannah Marshall ain't never fought this lady. Savannah Marshall ain't never fought no motherfucking man, let me see if she fought Nikki. I think she did fight Nikki. Did she fight Nikki? My Savannah Marshall ain't never fought no motherfucking Nikki. And her last fight was in 18. They're not fighting the same people. She fighting the trash people. They're not fighting the same people. Yeah, her name's ranking. I'm just spitting the facts, yo. I'm just spitting the facts. I'm just showing y'all that y'all caught up in the prison of the moment. I'm showing y'all that Clarissa Shields already beat better opponents than this lady, bro. This is not going to be Clarissa Shields' hardest fight. Y'all just caught up by them knockouts. Y'all caught about 12 knockouts when Clarissa Shields already beat the heavyweight champion of the world right now, the current heavyweight champion of the world, and she got 12 knockouts. Pop your shit, man. Now let's keep going. Let's keep going. Christina Hammer, she ain't never fought her because she could fight 21, 27 wins, 1 loss. 1 loss is to Clarissa Shields, age 31, in the same division, that motherfucking Savannah Marshall in. Never fought her. Never fought her. You're going to get knockouts when you fighting a bunch of nobodies. She literally not getting these title shots and these title chances. She could have the titles just like Clarissa Shields got, but she's not taking the opportunities because she's not that good. She's not as good as Clarissa Shields. She's not as good as Clarissa Shields. Marshall is older than Clarissa Shields. She don't got to catch up. She can't catch up. Clarissa Shields is younger than her. You got Ivana Hasbin, 20-3. And we finna go count these records up for y'all too in a second. 20-3. 20-3. After a 24-0, you got 20-3. For some more belts. There's 9 fights, 9 belts. You got 17-0. 17-0. 17-0, 18-1 now. You feel me? It's levels to this shit, man. Emma Cozen, undefeated. Richard Shields' last fight was against an undefeated fighter. Y'all coming here hyping motherfucking Savannah Marshall up over a fighter that Richard Shields beat 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Rambo. What? Man, y'all hype me up. Man, Chris Shields be the undefeated fighter her last fight. Y'all coming here hyping me up. Y'all coming here hyping this girl up. Like, for real, like, literally, like, what? Honestly, what fight of Savannah Marshall's tells you that she gonna be able to beat up Carissa Shields? What fighter? And I just gave you 4 or 5 fighters. I gave you 4 or 5 fighters who Shields beat that's better than Savannah Marshall. Y'all do know Savannah Marshall ain't knocked everybody out. That means if you could get away from her, she can't knock you out. If you got some skill, go watch these fights with your eyes, bro. Stop being a prisoner of the moment. Watch this. What division, what weight class Savannah Marshall fight at right now, y'all? What weight class she fight at right now? What weight class she fight at right now? Somebody tell me what weight class she fight at right now. One of y'all tell me what weight class she fight at. Y'all tell me what weight class she fight at right now. What weight class she fight at? I know. I want to see if y'all know. And then I'm gonna show y'all something else after y'all tell me what weight class she fighting at right now. I'm gonna show you something. What weight class she fighting at right now? Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know, huh? Cause y'all don't watch boxing. Y'all a prisoner of the moment. Middleweight. I bet. Okay, now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Show y'all something else real quick. Real quick. What does this say? What does this say? This lady got 1 belt in her own division, and they vacant. She got 1 belt in her own division. And they vacant. They vacant. Now, my question to y'all is, why y'all think she ain't tried to fight for one of those vacant belts? Why y'all think she ain't tried to fight for one of those vacant belts? Why y'all think she ain't trying to fight for one of those vacant belts? Because she know that when it's a vacant belt, and in women's boxing, when they give you an opportunity to fight for a vacant belt, it's gonna be a fucking matchup. It's gonna be a tough fight. A lot of them belts Hannah Gabriels versus Shields. A lot of those belts, a lot of those belts, a lot of those fights that we went through, Hannah Gabriels had it. Motherfucking uh uh Tori Nelson had it. Tori Nelson had it. Uh Hannah Rankins had it back in the day when she was 5-2. When you fight for those vacant belts, they go put your ass in there with a fight, and you really ain't got a yay or nay or who they put you in there against. But Clarissa Shields didn't even give a fuck about that. She was fighting for them vacant belts because they was there to be had, and she believed that she beat anybody. All I'm saying is, y'all hyping this girl up as if, as if. Let's go to the rankings. Let me see. In fact, let's go. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. All right. And this is current. This is currently, right? You got Shields, you got Savannah, and you got Kozan. And now this is box rec rank. So this Kozan, that's who Shields beat her last fight. That's who Shields beat her last fight. Number 3. Down here, number 7 is who Savannah Marshall beat at her last fight, right? And Shields beat her 4 years ago. Shields beat her 4 years ago. Savannah Marshall's last fight is her only fight with an opponent who's ranked at all on this fucking list. Where you go, you can't 1 through 29. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Stay with me now. Stay with me. Stay with me now. Stay with me. The fight that Marshall had last night. Now, note, the fight that Marshall had last night is the only name that you can find on here on Marshall's resume is the fight from last night. So she just had her only fight of a ranked opponent. She just had her only fight last night of a ranked opponent. And I'm gone. Skin Highway 17. These ain't the pages and the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.